Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Aspiring Adult Podcast. My name is Alexandra Hayek, and I'm your host. Today, I have my friend Katie. We met on a marketing course online, actually, and then we met in person not long ago in Austin. So, Katie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So obviously my name is Katie. I am currently from Long Beach, California. Yeah, Alex and I met online and I felt like our friendship has blossomed throughout the year. And then it was so cool to meet her in person, not that long ago. And actually she is moving to California, so I'm so excited to have her here. And yeah, I'm just kind of going through being a in my late 20s and trying to figure out life and what I want to do. And it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. So, can you tell people kind of what you do? Or I know we're both looking for jobs right now, but kind of what you have done in marketing and how did you decide that that's the path that you wanted to take?
Yeah. So my first, I would say, job in marketing, I did an internship with a startup company. It was for an olive oil company, specifically like Spanish olive oil that was being brought to the US and into this market. And it was very an interesting time. This was kind of, I think this was like 2021. So around the time COVID was still happening. And at this moment, I had just graduated college back in 2020 of the fall time, and it was really hard to get a job. Um, and I just needed to find some type of like work. I needed to figure out what type of marketing I wanted to get into. And it was a social media internship. So I was like, oh, social media, why not? It sounds fun. So I did that for a bit. And then I was hired on part-time as a marketing assistant. And it was fun just to understand like all the ropes of being an assistant, but as well as like starting your own company and not having like a playbook in front of you. So it was a lot of me kind of just Googling and like figuring out on my own and making sure I'm doing it right or not. But yeah, that was an interesting time. And I think for me, um, what kind of got me into marketing was super random. I just remember um, fresh out of high school, my dad was always telling me, get a business degree, you can take it anywhere. Great. So I actually went to a community college first and I got my AA in business administration. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? Like, this feels so broad and I don't know if I want this. And it was kind of the time to where I had to declare for my major. And I would say I'm very a creative person. I'm definitely a hands-on. I want to like be a fixer. I like being able to be challenged in certain situations and having just that creative mind to like fix a problem. And so saw marketing and I was like, I'm just gonna choose this. And then so yeah, here we are today. And um it's been a journey.
I also wanted to ask you, I know that you've mentioned that you want to be in like sports and like the wellness side, like doing marketing for that. I don't know if you can tell us a little bit more about what your passion for that is and why that field specifically.
Yeah. So I've been an athlete all my life, I want to say. Played sports from the age I could probably like walk or run. And I played 2 years at a community college. I played soccer there. And I continued to just kind of be involved in the soccer world. I coached kids after that, and I really loved doing that. And then as I kind of just gotten older, I was just like, okay, well, where is this marketing degree going to take me? What do I want to do with it? I love sports, so I just love like any sports. Lately, I've been really into hockey. So I'm like kind of like, oh, maybe I want to work for a hockey team. We'll see. But especially right now, like women's sports is just getting so much bigger. And
Yeah.
I would love to work for the NWSL or the US Soccer Federation. I've been like trying to just like network and like put my name out there and um yeah, I think just my love of sports all my life. even though I couldn't play it professionally, I think just being involved in that setting is just even better because you're just kind of more behind the scenes, which I like. With the wellness industry, I think lately I've just been getting into just I'm at the age where it's like, okay, I really need to focus on my health, and I'm learning so much about just my body and what I can do for it, and making sure that like caring for it now instead of 30 years, 20 years down the line and I'm not doing anything for it. So I'm definitely learning more about like what I should be putting in my body, like vitamins, all of that, workouts and everything. And yeah.
All of that is like super important. And I love that you know, have this passion for sports and soccer. Did you follow the Copa America at all?
I did. Super happy about Argentina.
You okay. I was rooting for Colombia. I was like,
I know,
Argentina
I know, I
wins
know.
every time.
I don't know, kind of figured. Obviously sucks for the USA to not make it to um out of the group zone. But yeah, it was just fun to watch, and especially with the Copa America and then the Euro was going on as well. So I was kind of like going back and forth between all of those games. And then obviously right now we're coming down to the Olympics is about to start soon. So super excited to watch the US women's national team play. And
Yeah.
yeah.
The US's women's soccer team is really good. More people are talking about women's sports. I think it's really cool to see how it's growing and people are like really investing um in it. Like
Yeah, no, it's fun to see that people are actually real like just getting so involved in watching it. Like my dad the other day was came to me. He's like, "Yeah, I've been watching all these YouTube videos about Caitlin Clark and women's basketball." And the other day he's like, "I'm gonna put the," and like my dad isn't a big basketball person, so just to hear him say that was just so interesting to me because he's always been like, I don't like basketball or blah blah blah. But ever since like um March Madness this year and just all those incredible women paving the way and just like making it 10 times better, it's just fun to hear people talk about it.
definitely. And I hope we'll see, like, especially the WNBA, like you said, it's been crazy. I know that you've always had this love for sports, right? And then you kind of fell into marketing. So, my next question for you is, what is the thing that has most surprised you about like your 20s and like this stage of your life?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I would say I'm most surprised about how I'm definitely more laid back and easy going. I think growing up, I was such an involved kid. I got in high school, I was waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and coming home at 4, 5 p.m. because I was so involved. And I did that for 4 years and I was just like, I was doing everything. And I think I burnt myself out so much that even in college, I was just very focused on my schoolwork. And then after, I kind of was just like, I need a break. And then even during that time, when I graduated, or like right before I graduated, COVID happened. So I kind of did get that break in that in between. So I would definitely say for me, my perception of having a career in like my job has changed a lot more. Um, could it be a good thing? Could it be a bad thing? Yes and no. Um, but I think in the past, with the jobs I have taken in marketing, I've always been like, okay, yes, 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 yes. I need to take this because I need the skills and I need to like learn and grow and figure out what I do want. And now that I have had that, I'm kind of at the point where I'm being a little bit more picky with the positions and like the companies that I'm applying for because at the end of the day, I kind of do want that work-life balance. I know like in the beginning, like whatever job I'm gonna get, like I'm gonna, not push myself, but I'm going to do my job to like the best of my ability. and then just kind of figure it out from there.
Yeah. I think pressuring yourself specifically is such a tricky thing because, like you said, it can very easily lead to burnout. And I know that that's definitely something, especially when you're starting out. Like you said, you want to pick any job, and like there's this honest, almost like desperation of like I need
Not
something,
really.
like I need to check off all these boxes, and it can just suck the energy out of you. And I think that it's really cool that you've kind of grown in that aspect, and now in your life you've decided to, just be more accepting of yourself, and yeah, just being able to be more chill, I guess. about
Yeah.
No, I think that that's really cool, and I feel like a lot of people can learn a thing or two from being that way. So it sounds like you've made some big changes in who you are, obviously from when you were younger, but I often find myself thinking about this, and I like to ask um different people what their younger self, like either middle school, high school self, would think about kind of where you're at and who you are now, and how is that different or similar to like where you thought you were going to be.
Oh, God, I would say, I think most probably my high school self. I don't, I want to say she'd be a little bit understanding. Um, but I also think she'd kind of be like, "What are you doing?" But I think what I thought back then as like say like a 16-year-old compared to being 27 now are like two different things. And I mean, I try to look back to say like what I was even thinking at the time. I think at the time I was just so focused on just passing all my classes and planning for the next year ahead and like, okay, like if I want to get into a good college, I need to take all these classes, dot, 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 dot. Like I was very structured with my everyday life. Like I knew what time, where I was going to be at one time. And I think now with obviously right now not having a job, I don't really have that structure anymore. So I do kind of feel off balance. So yeah, actually more recently I have been like trying to plan out like a morning routine to like make sure I'm doing certain things so I can feel a little bit more in balance with what I'm doing. I would say honestly, I think in career wise, definitely hope I can get to where I want to be when I thought I would be, even though, things take time. But I definitely think personally my younger self would look up to me. I think I've just grown so much just in my confidence, like my just ability to um just kind of go out into the world and like not really care about what other people think. Like I do have those moments where I do compare myself. And in high school I did that a lot. I compared myself a lot. And now I realize that everyone is on their own path and people really are not worried about me and my everyday life and what I'm doing. And I have to kind of keep telling myself that. And when I do, I feel a little bit better because, um, you know, your problem isn't bigger than mine, my problem isn't bigger than yours. And when I just kind of focus on me and not so worried about, you know, not even just strangers, my friends, I would say like too, like surround yourself with amazing friends who kind of push you because my friends do that. Um, I definitely look up to them and I do tend to compare myself to them because we're all at different stages of our lives. But even recently, both of my friends are kind of starting all over. One friend went to school for education and now she doesn't want to do that anymore. And my other friend is starting to look for another job. And this is the job that she's had since she graduated from college. So we're all kind of at this point where it's like we're all changing. Um, and it's okay if I'm taking a little bit longer than others.
Yeah. I think it's such a cheesy saying, but it's so true. It's like comparison is the thief of joy. And
100%.
like sometimes, like I feel like if I were younger, I would cringe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so true, and there's a reason why it's cheesy and people say it. it's so hard because you can have a really great like community and people around you and like surround yourself with good people, right? But you also have to like do the work to be able to like accept, how can I say this? Like be able to accept that community and like be able to help each other without like veering off into the other path of, well, why doesn't my life look like them? Or why am I not on the same path as them? Or why am I like, for example, I used to think a lot like, well, me and my friend, if we're at the same like level or the same age, right? Um, why are things quote unquote panning out for her better? Or like, or at least that's how I perceived it. So I think that a lot of the times, like you want to be with people who push you in a way, to be better and to have this like to keep going, but also you don't want to um take it too far and be like beating yourself up about not being at the level per se that they are, or yeah. So I think it's really cool that you found um these friends and that you can see all the like all your friends also making changes, you know, like we're constantly changing and you, although it pains me to admit this, things change all the time and you must adapt. Not a
Hmm.
very adaptable person. So yeah, I love what you said, basically, is my point.
Thank you.
My next question for you is what are you overcoming or looking forward to in your life in general?
I would say, I think just overcoming this stigma that it's not going to happen for me. I think, well, personally, from I've, been unemployed for a couple months now, and I feel like the job market right now is just very, not, I don't want to say hard, but I think I'm trying to overcome, um, basically kind of like what we were just talking about, just not comparing myself to others and overcoming like imposter syndrome, like just because on a job application it says 3 to 5 years or 5 to whatever years, I should just apply. Like, don't take myself out of the running just because I think that I'm not going to get it. And then just, yeah, overcoming um, the comparison and worried about what people are going to think if I'm posting online. I love that you're posting more on TikTok, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to start doing this a little bit more. I think I like make it so, but like so weird. Like, I'm like, oh God, I'm like gonna record myself and post it. But it's like, I feel like that should be so much easier recording yourself and posting it than like talking to 50 people that are going to view my TikTok. Like, I saw this article one day and it was talking about like, don't freak out about if you have low views because it had pictures of like, if there's 50 people in a room compared to like 500 compared to 5,000. And then it just kept going up 10,000 and all of that. And it was like, wow, like 500 people, that's a lot. Like 500 people are viewing your TikTok, your video, or whatever. I'm like, I shouldn't be too worried about that. So I definitely want to overcome um, just my own self. It's my own thoughts in my head, basically. And then I'm looking forward to just kind of growing into the person I know I can become. I'm looking forward to just being me, like wholeheartedly, and not, like I said, like not having to worry about what other people are thinking and whatever other people are doing. And then just being happy and content on through the monotony of life, like the everyday. Like, I know people, I had a full-time job last year that I was working from, I mean, the hours weren't the greatest. I was working from 10 to 7, weird hours. Probably would never do that again, but it was just the idea that I was going to work every week and I was doing it like everybody else. And I was like, wow, okay, as much as this kind of is boring, I kind of do miss like just the driving to work and, you know, figuring it out because, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. And just little things I'm looking forward to when that time comes.
Huh. I love that. That kind of actually reminds me of I saw a TikTok this morning. It was like, or was it this? I don't know. Anyways, um, it said like you need to start enjoying the process of becoming and not just like the end goal, you know?
Mhm.
And I guess it's another way of saying like it's all about the journey. But for me, like, I don't know, the way of phrasing that was way um more interesting or it like hit different to me. And I love that you said that you wanted to kind of overcome that fear of like posting and creating and whatever. Because I was thinking you should just start making TikToks about or videos about like your thoughts on sports and stuff. And I feel like that could be like a fun way or a good way to, kind of practice these skills. I don't know if you still want to go into social, but I didn't ask that. Do you want to keep going in social or do you think you want to switch it up?
Um, Oof, that's a tough one. Because I did like with social media, I'm pretty sure a lot of, I mean, you have been doing it. Kind of, it's like you're living and breathing social media. Like there's always, I do love the aspect that it's always ever changing. I didn't love the aspect. I mean, when I was doing it in my past job, I was one person. And it got to the point where I was like, I don't have any ideas anymore. I can't think of anything. So if I were to go back into social, I would definitely want to be a part of a team because I do personally work better when I'm bouncing ideas off of other people. I get ideas from, if someone says something, I can like, oh yeah, how about we do this? But when you're like the one person only doing it, it does get kind of a lot. Um, so I guess it all depends on like who I'm working for, what I'm doing. Um, yeah, it wouldn't be a no to me.
Okay. What other areas are you like interested in?
I would say more recently, I've been interested in influencer marketing. I just find how, as a society, we have gone from having like actresses, actors, models, like all the big A-listers to like basically everyday people that you're just, because like if I were to see someone that has over, I mean, I think t TikTok is so big that whoever, there's so many people I don't even know their names too. And I'm like, oh, this is a person I've never heard of, and they have over like I don't know, 80,000 people on TikTok. And I'm just like, that's crazy. But if they walked down the street, I would not know who they were. So I think TikTok still kind of gives this like, you could be popular and famous, but also still kind of have that everyday lifestyle. Um, and I like how influencers now, it's kind of, instead of more like influencers, I think it's kind of going towards um, just brands having like spokespersons. I've been seeing that a lot more lately. And I love also seeing like employees working for a company and posting about what they do every day. I think that's so cool because it kind of just gives like this open like look into more behind the scenes instead of posting like on your company's socials, it's on your own social. So I definitely feel like that's gonna get a lot more bigger.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of people nowadays like value companies that see the worth in like their employees. For example, um I think her name is Miriam. The girl who was posting like Chick-fil-A meals and then
Mm-hmm.
Chick-fil-A told her that she couldn't post anymore. I was like, that is the dumbest thing you could have done. Like, I don't know if you saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did. I think that's amazing. Yeah, why Chick-fil-A would tell her to stop, that's crazy. Obviously, she loves the food, like she's eating the food. So why wouldn't you want her to keep doing that? I think too, I recently saw this video and it was this one girl was talking about, I think I forgot her name, but she was talking about how like marketing with the marketing nowadays, it's just so much in our face. Like everybody consumers, everyday consumers know the process now. They know what's happening. And I think because social media has kind of like shown that. And basically, I think too, um, it's just kind of building that brand following. It's kind of building, um, it's not worrying about like at the end, like how much money you're gonna make. Like I know that's like obviously the biggest thing, but I think people who are just so used to having billboards or ads just thrown in their face every day that sometimes like being not serious is probably going to help you out in the long run.
Wait, who's your favorite influencer? Do you have
Oh,
anybody that you like at the moment?
ah, favorite influencer. I feel like, I mean, can't go wrong. Love Alex Earl.
Ugh, she's great.
She is great. Um, if I can be like her one day, I totally would. But I'm not rich, nor is my family rich like that. Becca Moore. Do you know who Becca Moore is?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Love her.
Didn't she like first go viral for losing her phone and
And
then yeah,
Coachella and an Uber, yeah. Yep,
yes.
yep. Really like her. Oh,
I
and then Remy Bader. Love Remy.
I love her. Did you
The
see
other
I saw this clip of her and Alicia's podcast and they were like and she was like, "Oh, would you ever go on Love Island? We could easily get you on Love Island." And somebody commented was like, "That is such a powerful sentence to say."
that is a powerful sentence to say. The other day she was like posting and I literally looked at my sister and I like made a comment. I'm like, I love that she's living her best. Like I love that Remy's living her best life. And I was like, it's so and she looked my sister looked at me like, what? I was like, yeah, I act like she's like if Mike like my best friend or something.
Literally. That's
Oh.
like me with there's this influencer. She lives in she's Colombian from Miami, but she lives in New York City and her name is Hello Teffy and she is my favorite
Hmm,
of all time.
love her.
Obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with her hair. I'm obsessed with her tattoos. I'm obsessed with her life. I'm obsessed with her vibe. I'm just obsessed. I love her. She's I was this is why I got obsessed with her. That series that she was doing of like explaining like the lives of celebrities. Did you see those?
Mm-mm.
She like for a while, I think this is like how she really got big is she was like she had series on TikToks of like the life of whoever. So she has one on Amy Winehouse. She has one. She also does like couples too. She had one that was just Fleetwood Mac, which that was insane and like all of their lore,
Oh wow.
many of them. But I used to binge them. Oh yeah, she recently did Shelley Duvall since she like passed away. But yeah, I just love her. She's my favorite right now. But I really want to listen to the what's our podcast called? Remy and Alicia's podcast. It's like I don't know what it's called, but I see that their clips all the time. That and the canceled podcast. Have you ever heard the podcast?
Uh
Listen to it?
no. I just see clips on TikTok.
Same. That's all I see.
That's all I see.
The influencer world. I'm like, they're like, it's so interesting to me. Like everyone's an influencer, but also not. You
That
know?
is
What do you
very
think
true.
about that? That everyone's an influencer
What do I
now.
think about that?
Yeah.
I think that there's people who have good intentions of wanting to become an influencer, and I think there's people who have bad intentions, and you can spot out like who's who, right? Uh, I definitely the ones who are doing it just for clout or whatever, I think they're gonna have a short run with their influencing, and I think the people who are wanting to do it and like actually make a career out of it and fully immerse themselves into that, I think you're gonna see uh those people just do a lot better.
Yeah. I agree. Oh, that like actually makes me think about this point that I saw that people who are influencers just like being known for being them are not gonna last anymore. And now people like what's coming up is like influencers or yeah, people who are influencers, but they like have a life and like a job outside of that. And that's what's gonna be like more popular. I don't know if you've seen that. Actually, it was this guy like pointed it out. I don't know if you know him, Nikki Reardon. He makes a bunch of like marketing and like pop culture videos. I don't know if you've like heard that.
No, but I feel like I haven't. I feel like I haven't.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with that statement. I think, um, I've even seen videos of people who have had full-time jobs quit their full-time job because they're making so much money in influencing. And then all of a sudden, I think when when you don't have a team and you're not, I don't want to say they weren't advocating for themselves enough, but I think when you're not focusing on different avenues, it kind of can get a little bit boring. And over a while, it doesn't take that long to clip a TikTok. Unless you're just doing TikTok, then like YouTube, that's going to take a minute to do, depending on all the video you have, right? Any other content that you're making for places. And I've seen a lot of like specifically women go back to getting full-time jobs because it just like they're like, yeah, I kind of just got boring. Like they're what did they say? There was no it didn't push them anymore. In the
Yeah.
beginning, it was great. It was new, it was great. But after a while, once they kind of understood it and knew how to do it, it kind of just became like, how do you grow from this in a weird way? That they weren't being pushed to like, there wasn't a lot of challenges for them because they've already faced those challenges. I
Yeah.
think, you have like the Alex Earls or Monet of the influencing
Yes.
world and how they both pushed the envelope of what they did in the beginning. Like, I even heard too that a lot of influencers, a lot of people kind of start to fall off like once they get so big because in the beginning they're just normal, everyday people. So when they're posting, that's what people are attracted to. But when they start doing other things and post about it, people don't like it.
I think there's a very fine line, like when you're an influencer, that you never want to become like unrelatable. And it's like really hard because you start to fall into these spaces, right? Like at the very beginning of like influencers, I'm thinking like the Emma Chamberlain, like
Mm-hmm.
all of that era, I think was very different in the way that like Emma Chamberlain to me is a celebrity now. Like she's
Oh
not
yeah.
an influencer, and very few will like get to that stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that like today you have to realize that there's so much variety of people and content. Like very few people can do just the influencing thing without like losing followers or becoming unrelatable, especially if you started off, my bad, with your job or your aspiration in that way. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
this guy that I saw, his name's I don't remember what his name is. I think it's Sod something. And he has been going viral for like saying that he's like his intro is always like born to be a food reviewer, forced to be a finance bro. Like his whole aura and like brand is that he's trapped in this finance bro life, right? And it's like he just wants to make cool fit checks and like he just wants to be like reviewing sweet treats and whatever. And the guy's like has a great personality, right? I wonder if like for example, if he were to be like, "Oh, oh my God, like this is working out so well for me. Like let me quit my finance bro job." If people would be like, "I don't like him anymore," because or not that I don't like him anymore, it's just like doesn't hit the same, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between like what we're going through with influencers right now compared to like celebrities. Like growing up, celebrities we knew were so out of touch, right? Watching them on our TV screen, prior to like social media, you're looking through the magazines and they're on billboards and all that stuff, right? And I think influencers, like you said, we see what they're doing, we see how they started off, and then we see them get to a place, and we're kind of like, but that doesn't like we know that they were normal, but they're not really normal now because now they have all this money or now they're doing things that I can't normally do. And I think that's where a lot of people get kind of taken a step back. I think there was this one influencer, I don't remember her name, but she recently, like, great for her. I mean, she's younger than me. Like, if I was her, I would do the same thing. Um, I don't know if she grew up with money or not, but she was like living in New York and then recently bought a house in the Hamptons. And then the next day bought like a Range
Hallie,
Rover.
yes. Hallie,
Yeah. And
yes.
everyone was just like, I think she like posted a TikTok and was like, I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. And it's like, I think that kind of came off a little bit wrong because it was like you guys are intended to like her audience, like people who actually have 9 to 5 jobs or who are working 2 to 3 jobs just to get by and just to live, or maybe half of her people are also in college or maybe even some in high school. So it's like when you see that, no one can live up to that.
Yeah.
All of her followers probably won't ever be able to live up to that. So I think it's also, um when you get so big as an influencer, it's having it, you need a management team. You need someone behind you to be like, okay, just like how companies have their team and everything gets reviewed before it gets posted out. Obviously, there's been advertisements that everyone is just like, did you not have a little meeting before this? This did not
Yeah.
go well. I mean, everyone's going to hit rock bottom, or everyone's going to, think that it is going to come out a good way, but really it's not. But um, yeah, I definitely think influencers, there's going to be a switch in the next couple years, I want to say. I think it's happening now.
Yeah.
Um, so it's exciting to see.
Okay, well, we can wrap this up. Thanks, Katie, for being on the
Thank
podcast
you.
and for coming on. It was amazing to have you.
I'm
Is
so
there anything you
happy.
want to add or say?
I think like what we talked about in the beginning, like just, comparison is the thief of joy, as cringy as that is. Um, just focusing on you and only you. And lately, my friends and I have been talking about, there's a saying that like one of my friends came up with. It's like, not my chair, not my problem. So, whatever people are going through and drama that kind of comes into your life, it is not your chair and it's not your problem. You just move on and focus on you, and hopefully, um, everything will work out for everyone. You got to stay positive to bring the positivity back into you. So, yeah,
Yeah, I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, and thanks everybody for listening. You can follow us on Instagram and now TikTok. And then you can listen to this on obviously wherever you get your podcasts. Actually, that's just Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube. If you get it somewhere else, you're not listening to this. All right. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.